I always forget about that. Hello? All right. Let me go syndicate. What's up, chat? I need like a thumbs up if you can hear me. I've been messing around with my sound system for the last 3 days, recording videos and audio and stuff. I don't know if anybody can hear me. We'll just roll people in slowly. Let me take a look at this. So I want still doing one last build to deploy this thing. A couple of little changes that I need to fix. Oh, let me share this in the chat. Is this stream running on? Yes, it is. Sweet. All right. Post this for the crew and Farcaster. Share it with my boys on Discord and my crew on Telegram. I need a bot that does this. Wait, let me see. I can't. I need to be able to see if I can hear myself. 1 second. I don't know what this sounds like. Go on X and listen myself. Oh, you know what I should do? How do I? I guess I can't do that. Hello? Oh, it's actually fine. Shout out to my boys. Thank you. Thank you, sir. What's up? We got Russian, longtime community member, defending from the futters. How you doing? So we're streaming on all the platforms today. We're on Pump, Arena. I'll go check Pump and Arena in a little bit, and we're also on YouTube and X. So I'm just doing a redeploy right now to check something. All the security that I put into the app is stopping everything from working. I guess it's good. Security's good. just try one thing. That did not work. Why is that not working? Hmm. One second. I'll get started in a second. I just need to check one thing. The magic block stuff seems to be working. There's just one slight issue with the syncing of the LP shares. And then once that's fixed, I think we should be good to go. Everything else seems like it's working. All right, so I'll get started, kind of cover a little bit about what's been going on, go through a little bit of the journey, and then at the end, we'll test DevNet. So I'm going to be talking to you guys, and then in the background, I'll be working on DevNet and making sure the build is building and the delegations are working and everything's working on the background. So, status report from I think the last stream I did was maybe like at the beginning of the year. It's probably about 2 weeks ago, and had a lot of there was still quite a bit of outstanding work from back then. A couple of outstanding questions from the technical side, and they revolved around just making sure that all of our integrations with Magic Block were super clean, super smooth, and that everything worked really quickly. So there was questions around that. There were questions around the token and the like stream token that we have that's on Pump Fund, and what to do with that. And so for that, we've kind of talked about that over the last couple of streams, and then I've also chatted with people in the Telegram about that as well. And then it was basically just work, getting the product finished, getting it shipped, getting it delivered. And so the goal for today is to be able to actually try it with real people on DevNet, testing with actual stables on DevNet, so that we can actually see this thing working at the full speed, the 50 millisecond block speed that we are so graciously promised from Magic Block, which I think we'll be able to hit that. I've been running this locally for the last couple of days, done some demos for people, and so it should be working. There are a couple of edge cases that I haven't been able to test just because I'm not on actual DevNet. I'm just running locally on my own machine. But the I've tried to make the environments as close to similar as possible so that if you are testing on DevNet, it'll effectively look like it would look on my local machine when I'm testing it as well. And I just have two accounts. So I have one account that's like me, and then I have another account that's, that's the bot or that I act as like an LP that's doing all the other stuff. So that's kind of what's going on right now. And I'm just fixing one little thing because there's a bit of an issue that I didn't foresee, which is I deposited money into the program, but it didn't give me the credits on Magic Block because I didn't have the Magic Block link set up correctly, which I fixed the Magic Block link, but the money is still deposited in the like temporary state. So I need to have a button that says, "Hey, either put it in the LP pool or allow me to remove it from the shares that are on Solana." So I just need to add that functionality. I never ran into that locally because in my local instance, all of the configurations were set up correctly. But that's should be pretty simple to um, fix. let's see, it says, okay, there's a manual button. Okay, and then it says the proper long-term fix is sync to LP pool, sync LP pool to ER. Okay. Um, let's see, what is this asking me for? Changes made. Okay, it already made the changes. Okay, cool. And then I'll probably implement this long-term fix, which is a change to the program. I'll just do this later today. That way I can let me copy these notes. That way, if this happens again, it won't require 2 clicks. You'll just be able to do it in 1 click. Cool. So I'm delivering that change right now. Should be up in a couple of minutes, and I'll test it in a second. Um, so basically, yeah, what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks is just fixing the contract, optimizing the scheduler. So one of the big challenges with trying to build a, like what we're building in terms of having something that runs super fast, that runs on chain, and that runs at scale. We want to be able to support tens of thousands of people, is to obviously have an infrastructure that allows us to support these transactions. When you look at most blockchains right now, they're pretty slow in terms of throughput and in terms of being able to handle massive amounts of transactions. So we're really pushing the boundaries in terms of speed and how fast we can execute transactions, and then we're also pushing the boundaries um, in terms of like settlement, right? You need to be able to. We want this. We want the system to be designed in a way where when you open up a position, even if it's a 1 second position or if it's a 12-second position, we want you to be able to open these positions and have them closed and have them settled. And if you're one of the traders on the platform, you should be able to take your money out 1 second after it settles, right? We don't want to have like lockups for the traders that are using the platform, and we want to keep everything fast. So there's a lot of complexity in terms of the constraints that are on the blockchain of how many, like you can't have infinite amounts of accounts that you write to because there's only a certain amount of space you can write to. You can't write infinite amount of data per account, so there's all these constraints that we're trying to work around and scale this thing up. And so I've just been going through that, which has been, I would say, like super helpful. And this, kind of going through that process. The other, and it's just been a learning experience, I would say, with the constraints that we have. Because if you play the game on Devnet, it's very simple to play, or on practice mode right now. You just go to bloxwap.com, and if you just play right now, it's pretty straightforward because it all runs pretty much on your browser. But we can't run the game on the browser. We want to be true to crypto, where we run fully on chain. The the price feed is on chain. The updates are on chain. Everything happens on chain. The liquidity is on chain. The trades are on chain. Everything's on chain. So that's kind of how we're trying to optimize and think about the solution. And so as we're going through, we need to make sure that everything works and that we can keep adding people and scale this thing up as we're. Wait, did I not? What happened to this thing? Hold on 1 second. Oh, wow. All right. Update. I didn't even commit the changes. All right, now it's pushing. So yeah, that's kind of like what we're looking for in terms of syncing. And so actually, I don't. Let me step back, and I'll go through a quick demo of the products because it's pretty much the same, but for people that haven't seen it, I think it'll be good for them to take a look and see what we're building here. Let me switch to this. Oh, my thing is broken. Okay, how do I every single time? Let's see, the desktop. Hmm. to pick the window. Oh, this is it. Screen share. Google Chrome. Google Chrome. This Google Chrome. Perfect. All right. Make this wider so it'll fit here. And then we'll go to bloxwap.com so we can see the product. So it's pretty much the same that it's been before. You know, you've got your market selector, you've got your leverage, which we're probably gonna. I think I figured out a way to kind of simplify this, but my brother and I are still doing some mathematical calculations to make sure that this number is right. You've got the deposit, so you can obviously just click here and deposit. You can open up a position by clicking above the green line. That's a long. You just got liquidated. You can open up a position below the green line. That's a short. So I just made a leverage play and got paid a multiple. And so we've got all of the pieces. I'm not doing too well right now. Yeah, not doing well at all. So we've got all the pieces of the puzzle to kind of make the product work and make the trading engine work. It's just taking this logic here and then, like I said, moving it 100% on chain. So opening this position should happen on chain and it should be very quick. Um, the way that we have the system set up, it's checking the price of every single position 5 times a second. So, you know, if you're thinking about if we have 1,000 people playing and they each, do clicks like this, and this is what, 3, 6, 7 positions, and there's 5,000 people playing, you're going to have 35,000 positions open and you need to go through all of those every 5 times a second. And so scaling that is what we've been trying to figure out and, just trying to optimize that. And there's a couple of interesting tricks we can use, to create, like, I think it's funny because a lot of these ideas have come through crypto forever, like sharding and caching and all that stuff, just the standard computer science things to scale things up. So, we're in the process of just kind of finalizing everything and getting this to a point where it is going to be good to go from a testing standpoint. And so once I get this deployment going and I can test this one last thing, we should be able to try this out together. The other piece that we've been looking at is actually got a request, and I know we've been talking about this in the Telegram, which is our like PvP mode, so player versus player. So I've been working on this, which is like still a work in progress, needs a lot of work, but this is going to be a live mode of Bloxwap. So I know maybe 3 months ago or 2 months ago, we had a version of Bloxwap that you were able to play in a what's like a player versus player mode positions. Oh, this is killing computer. So what we're trying to do here with this live.bloxwap.com, and this is, I just made this like 2 nights ago, swap.com, and I just made this like 2 nights ago really quickly. this? Hello? 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 Did the thing seems like it's oh, I think I'm back. All right. The sound card died. All right. I can see the I have in my little audio viewer, I can see when the audio is playing, and I just never even checked it when I came back. All right, perfect. Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, let me run that back. Okay, so what I was explaining just a second ago was how the LP pool plays into the whole concept of Bloxwap and what the purpose of the LP pool is. So, um, if you are, this is the LP page here, and the LP page is designed for you to be able to deposit LP into a pool, and then this pool is who all of the Bloxwap traders trade against, right? So it's all algorithmically done. And the reason we did this is because when we were using the perp dex to power everything, there's a bit of time where the perp dex has to find the maker and the taker. And in that window of time, it just takes a lot longer than our system can really afford to have time going to. So this is an auto settling position where as soon as you place your trade, basically it's just the time that it takes to send the trade to the chain is how fast it takes to settle. So, 150, 200 milliseconds, and then your trade is settled. It's auto accepted. So the pool sits in between the traders and whatever the leverage is in the price. And the way it works is like this. So if you're a trader and you open up a position, this blue would be you opening up a position. Let's just say this is $4 here, and we'll make this blue, right? So this is you tapping the screen and opening up a $4 trade. If you push, which means that you're not correct or incorrect, you get 90% of your money back. If you get liquidated, which means you're incorrect, you get 0% of your money back. And if you're correct, which means that the leverage goes your way, depending on how far away you are from the green line where you placed your trade, the further away, the higher. But you can make anywhere from like 200 to like 1,000% if the trade goes your way, right? So the way we need to be able to support this. No, let me take. I'll saw you off the thing. Wait, is he still on here? No, he's gone. Okay. The way we need to be able to support this is that we need to have LP, because if somebody comes into the game, right, and this is what I was showing earlier, if they show up to the game and they just immediately click on the screen, right, like they show up and they just immediately click on the screen, and let me see if I can get something that work. Okay, this would be probably not that bad because there was some liquidations, but if they come and they just are like, oh, I think it's gonna go long. Okay, I'm not doing a good job of this demo, but if they think it's going to go long and it actually does go long and they don't get liquidated, then we need to be able to support paying them out immediately, and that those payouts are going to come from the liquidity pool. So over time we want to basically make sure that any user who opens up a trade can get their payout. And so this is the liquidity pool interface that allows any LPs to be able to deposit stables. So you're going to be able to deposit USDC in here, and that will go towards funding the payouts for the traders that win. And then as the pool fills up, there'll be a share price, so you'll have, you put $3,000 in, that's like 3,000 credits. And then that means that's your percentage equity stake of whatever the pool is. And then if you want to withdraw, we have a 72-hour cooldown window. So that way you can't just, deposit and withdraw and deposit and withdraw and deposit and withdraw really quickly. We want to make it so that if you're depositing, you're committing to at least 3 days of letting your LP sit in the pool before you commit. And we'll probably put like a little warning up when you deposit as well. Actually, let me write that down so that way people aren't like, oh, I deposited and now I can't take my money out. Warning for depositors to let them know that there is a 72-hour cooldown. And so yeah, what I'm trying to figure out right now is why basically I have $3,000 locked in here, but I don't have my LP shares uh, set up here. And so this is what I'm trying to figure out and trying to fix that real quick. But once I get the LP share set up, then we should be able to tap trade. So this price right here is coming from the Devnet. So this is like real-time price feed that's working. And the contract, I think the contract's already initialized. It's just we need to be able to deposit LP, and I need to fix that one thing. So that's the this is the idea behind the LP pool and why we have the LP pool. I think I tried to show a demo of the live version, and that's what kind of killed everything. But yeah, one of the things we're trying to do is we basically want to have a live version of this. So if you think about it, it would be, you know, in the middle you would have the Bloxwap game here, and then on the side you would have a local leaderboard, and then over here on this side you would have a global leaderboard. And then down here, you know, you'd have like a price ticker. Oops. So this would be like a price ticker, or maybe like the winner's ticker, right? And so we want something like this so that there's going to be an event at Consensus in Hong Kong that we're thinking about trying to demo Bloxwap at. And so the idea would be somebody could scan it, they could play the game, they could play obviously in a competitive mode against other players, or and then there'd be a global leaderboard. So maybe we do some sort of round system where you play for like 30 seconds or a minute, and then the top P&L of that round gets put into the global leaderboard, and you know you could show this on the ticker, and you could have kind of like that pump.fun, you know, what's it called, where the tickers like vibrate back and forth. You could do something like that as well. So we're looking at some designs, and I just kind of started an initial version of this, but I think it would be really cool. And we actually had something when we tested this a few months ago where it gave us that look and feel where you could see the actual positions of everybody else who was trading. So you could see like, oh, this person's, you know, tapped here and tapped there. So the idea would be to make this more of a real-time, in-person version of the game. So you wouldn't really see this if you weren't there. And actually, I think this solves an interesting problem with prediction markets as well, where right now with prediction markets, you know, you're trading against a bunch of people who they could be bots. You don't even know who they are, and they're creating these positions. But I think if you take that prediction market data and then just feed it to a local environment, right? Like let's say you're watching like F1 and you're like, who's going to win the race? Or you're, you know, it's more probably around sports. I would say is probably or competitive environments is probably the area you'd be doing it. But if you are at a house with your friends and you open up Bloxwap and you create a local version, a local leaderboard for the people that are sitting in the room, then it's just you against yourselves. You're not competing with some random person who may be like, I've already like spiked the pool, or they have some inside information that you don't know about. Everybody sitting there is basically playing the same game with the same amount of information. So I think that would be an interesting way to have these like micro tap trading environments without having to deal with the risk of a global manipulated, you know, what would you call it, like a globally manipulated prediction market where somebody is clearly going to win because they already know the answer beforehand. So we're just looking at some ideas around that and seeing if we can get that working. 1 second, let me check on the build. I feel like I'm cooking on the side over here. Is it up? No. Code review's done. Code's not landed. Okay, so these are just some ideas that we've been thinking through as we're doing some development. And what else have we been doing? Oh, we're working on some risk engine stuff. So we have some potential liquidity providers who want to provide liquidity. So in this diagram, right, there are some people that would want to put liquidity in here. And they're just basically taking a risk that that all of our math works out correctly and that all this stuff would is going to work out in the end and statistically going to work out. So we're trying to do the math to make sure it does work. But in our initial findings, there have actually been quite a few people that have been making quite a bit of money on the user interface of with tap trading so far, which has been pretty fun to see. But then obviously there's a bunch of people that are doing a bunch of pushes, and then some people, like I just went through and I just got wrecked right when I was trying this. So there's obviously some people that are not doing as well as others. But there is actually room for winners to be successful in this thing. Oh, you know what? I wonder if no, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me zoom back to myself, and then I'm gonna try something. Hmm. The internet capital markets. Let's see. Oh, wait. Is there a function that I need to add? No. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh no. I just accidentally deposited another $100. We add a button on the LP page to sync the. Okay, I need one more button. The button to sync the LP pool is not showing up right now. What do you mean it's synced? I don't see it. Hmm. It says it's there, but I do not see the sync button. And that's not good because then I can't trade. Sorry, I'm talking to the robot because it thinks that I have my stuff synced, but I don't see anything. Okay, so let's see. What else is there to chat about? So we talked about the PvP tournament mode, which will be interesting. Talked about the LP, which we're also working on in terms of making sure that the liquidity is making sure that the liquidity is stable across the ecosystem as we get started. And today we're actually going to measure some of the liquidity stability. That way, as people are playing with the USDC, we'll actually get that stuff working. Oh, another thing that I just remembered. So some people got airdrops, and they have USDC on mainnet that's still inside the drift contract. So there is a way, if you want, there is a way to get the value out of the drift contract if you want to do it yourself, like if you want to export your key. But we will be adding a button back in that will basically allow you to, effectively like drain your own pool back down to yourself so that you can um so that you can pull the, hold on, get push, so that you can basically withdraw the USDC from your um, account, your Drift account, back into your own wallet. And then once you control it, it's your wallet. You can export the private key into your own wallet handler or whatever. We're going to add more wallet functionality as we kind of move forward, but right now, basically everything stays in the game ecosystem or in the trading ecosystem. But you can take yourself out, and if you want to just use your own wallet and do whatever, you can just do that whenever. But we're going to add our own we're going to add our own wallet interfaces so that you can actually do more trading, send stuff around, and do other things inside of Bloxwap. Let's see. So we got a question here. Russian said, when snapshot? So the when snapshot is referring to the snapshot for the um, Bloxwap uh, token that we're going to launch. We're still talking to what's it called, Seedplex, who's going to be the people that are going to create the venture token. But then we're also getting some questions from other investors of whether or not Seedplex is reputable, and they have questions, and they're like, you should use Echo or some of these other legacy platforms. So I don't actually have an answer to this yet. I'll have more information definitely by next week, because that was when Seedplex was supposed to get back to us with more concrete information. They gave us a scaffolding of, what the safe would look like for the Bloxwap community, and I think it looks good. But we have to get feedback from other people that are going to be also investing alongside the community, and so I need to still figure that out. This is noted. Trust me, I'm not interested in using Echo either. But a lot. I don't. I. It's an interesting. It's an interesting like environment, because I think, for me, I'm willing to try new projects or new products, and like try to figure out novel ways to onboard people and get people involved. But also, there's people have they're scared of like downside risk, right? I think when you look at crypto, it's not only all of us who've been in crypto for, the last 5 years that got wrecked, but like all the investors also got wrecked, right? And so they're scared too, just like everybody else. So you have to kind of take that into consideration when you're like, oh, let's use this brand new platform that nobody's ever heard of. Which I met the founders, right? At Breakpoint, I got to talk to one of the co-founders. The other co-founder was doing a presentation, which is on the Solana. If you go to the Solana account on YouTube, you can go search through, look for Seedplex. You can find the other founder. It's a pretty short video. It's nothing crazy, but it explains how they think about equity, and it gets raised in like in an account that's not in the United States. Like, it's an offshore account that invests into the company. So there's no, I believe there's no like KYC or whatever, and then you get equity in the company, and you get tokens that are live. They're tradable as soon as the contract is officially closed and executed. So um, it seems like a cool thing, and that would give people the ability to, some people that are like, oh, I don't like the way you're going, you can just, sell your tokens, and then you don't have to follow along or participate or do anything with the community, which I think would be good. And it also is, I feel like, doubly beneficial because it gets the people that are aligned with the project in, and then if somebody else wants to buy in, they can just buy from somebody who wants to get out, right? It's not and but the good thing is that we know who's holding. I think one of the challenges with the current token is that nobody knows who has any of the supply, except for my supply, which I've like docked my holdings, right? Like they know, everybody knows that there's 25% that's locked up in a wallet that's tied to the TG that's tied to that. So, but outside of that, there's a pool that has 7% that's somebody who's farming the token. There's all this crazy stuff in there. So, I don't know who's who. Let's see. It's just me and Russian in here. Just fun. Let's see. Echo raise doesn't make it total. Yeah, that is like something I'm not excited about either. So, although, although I will say, and I think I said this in the last stream, the fact that a token has like a float is not necessarily great for people who are trying to focus, who can't focus, right? I think I talked about this story, but there was this Russian guy who I used to work with at Amazon, and it was crazy watching him work when the Amazon price was going up and down a lot. Like I think he had this thing where every time he went on vacation, the Amazon price somehow seemed to just drop. And so he was like, I can't go on vacation anymore. And so I think that unless you have somebody who's kind of stable, like mentally stable against trading, and that's kind of just a personality thing, I'm not necessarily a big fan of having a token price that's just floating and going up and down, and people are buying and selling and trying to, manipulate the price and buy this and sell that, because it makes it very, very difficult for somebody who's trying to focus to be able to just build the product and focus on building and focus on shipping the product when there's this like ticker that's going up and down in the background. And I saw this in Dubai. I saw this at Amazon, and I also saw it at Uber, right? Because when at Uber, I was at Uber before we IPO'd, and so you get a 409A valuation. Somebody comes in and says, okay, your shares are worth. I joined the company. They were like worth what, like $42 a share at whatever supply limit, right? And then the thing doesn't change for a year because there's no new money coming in, there's no new valuation. It's just a stable price that you get. And so you're at $42 a share, you don't have to worry about it. Then SoftBank comes in, and then all of a sudden you're $54 a share, right? And so you just have these like stable gaps up. You don't have $42, $55, $100, $10, $20. That volatility is not in a private company's um, a private company's share price, which makes it easier because if you're working, you're not worried about, oh, I'm rich today, I'm poor tomorrow, which is the mindset that everybody in crypto is comfortable with, but a lot of people are not comfortable with that. So the well, maybe everybody in crypto is not comfortable with that, but it's gotten beaten into us, I would say. And so that's one of the other challenges that we're trying to like work around, which is, hey, if you're like if you're trying to there's it's not always necessarily good that the tokens are freely tradable all over the place. So that's one thing I am cognizant of from my experience. Exactly. Make it as distributed as acceptable possible. Echo is just an ICO platform. You can't even trade an asset. Oh yeah, so that's yeah. I mean, that's basically just like doing a private investment. You don't even need Echo for that. You could probably use like AngelList or something else and just pay less fees. So if we're doing Echo, I'm not saying we're doing Echo. I'm just saying that's what somebody suggested. Okay, this is not working right now, which is not good. Let me try from a different account. What am I logged in as? Let me log out. Actually, let me try one more thing, and then if this doesn't work, we might have to. I might have to do fix some things and then come back a little bit later, or come back tomorrow and do another stream because I made a. I forgot to check the deposit flow in the contract because um, every magic block instance that we use, so that's where the trading engine is going to run. Every instance that we use has a different address. And locally, I have an address that I've been using, and I forgot to update it. And so when I deployed everything and I started everything, it was like, okay, you're good to go, but the address wasn't correct. So I need to either like redeploy, but before I redeploy, I want to make sure that the USDC that's in the contract, I pull it back out before anything else happens. So that way I can retry this without losing 3,000 USDC. I guess it's 3,100 now. So if I can pull this back out, I'll redeploy and then I'll test it. And either I'll come back later today or come back tomorrow and then we can try it if this doesn't work after this next change that I'm going to make. Because I need to make sure this is fully functional. All right. So yeah, I'm not 100% married to Echo. I'm actually not married to Echo at all. I probably would rather not use it. Let's see. So we got that. Um, the hub is still the same. The links are still the same. We removed all the token stuff from everywhere. I think somebody gave me a suggestion for that in the Telegram. So we did that. What else is there? I'm trying to think about what else there is. I mean, really, right now, it's basically just trying to, get this Devnet thing up and running. Um, and once this is up and running, we should be able to test this. I'll put in liquidity, and then we'll be good to go. This is actually cool to watch on Devnet because I can actually see everything updating in real time in the admin panel that I built to test everything out. Let's see. Oh, let me just check one quick thing. If I go here and I go to withdraw, okay, can't do it yet. I'm gonna try one last thing. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna have to sit down and test this out, and it might take an hour. But I might come back and just do a pop up stream in an hour if I can get this thing up and running properly. Because just sitting here watching me program is probably not super entertaining. Let's see. I got a follower on Arena. There's 2 people watching this on Pump. Pump. I don't know what's going on. I don't think anybody's on YouTube. Let me see what's on YouTube. Whoa. YouTube, chill. 1 second. YouTube, I'm live. We have, I can't tell. 1 person watching. That's probably me. So everybody's on X. Okay. Looks like there's a new button. And I just need to wait for this to deploy, which means I should be able to withdraw. Then I can try to redeposit. And then if I can redeposit, that will be perfect. All right. If there's any other questions, I'll take some of the extra questions if anybody has any questions about the product. And then if nobody has any questions, hopefully I can get this thing fixed. It's committing right now. Take a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes. If I can get this committed, we can do a quick test. And then if everything works, obviously you'll be able to keep playing because I'll put liquidity in there. I'll probably add like, I don't know, maybe like $10,000 of liquidity. Or I can give people the LP page and other people can add liquidity as well and test that out. That'll be helpful. And then come back. The goal would be if we can get this thing up and running today and get the liquidity piece fixed, then we can come back on Monday and hopefully I can have the PvP version working so that we can do a live stream and we can watch us play PvP live, which I think would be super cool, where you could see everybody playing against everybody else. And I can set up a mini tournament where we can have everybody kind of competing against everybody else. I think that would be super cool because I think that might be one of the experiences that would be fun to engage in, where it's the community, a community, a live streamer playing against this community or something like that. So, and you can do that on Devnet, which means that they'll be able to put in USDC without having to pay the actual USDC costs. It'll be able to mint it for free and almost like practice mode, but with real like really running on chain so that you're not going to have, the off chain Oracle problem. Oh, we got Sixer showing up. Yeah, PvP. Yep. Yeah, we're thinking about that. The idea is to get it to get it ready for consensus. So we want to help show off some of the technology that we're building on top of. Because right now, I don't think anybody else's tap trading game. And I think, let me see. I have a list of all the tap trading games. If you know of any tap trading things, let me know. Let's see. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I've seen 13 so far. A few of them are on, obviously, there's like the main ones, but then there's like a few of them on Solana, some on Abstract. There's some like off chain versions where there's not even an actual, like, it's not even on a blockchain, it's just the game. And then there's one on Monad. Yeah, they're like all over the place. Some of them are like mini games of some other product, which is actually interesting as well. But I've just seen a lot of them. And these are the ones that I've seen that actually have websites. There's 3 or 4 more that I know about who the founders have said, hey, I'm building a tap trading thing. And I'm like, okay. And then they show me their version, but it's not finished out. It's just more of a conceptual product. So, okay, let's see if this works. Man, this is so much harder just doing this development on DevNet because locally, if I make a change, I just restart my local server and then I'm good to go. I'm done. But now it's like I have to commit it, redeploy, do this, do that. Come on, give me my shares back. Oh my God. It's not working. Okay, it's not working. It's not letting me do it. Let me try one more thing. And then if this doesn't work, I'll have to come back in a little bit and try something else. Let me log in with a different account. So that was Phantom. Let me log in with my Twitter account. Let's see if this works. Oh, this account has no money. No Solana, no money. Okay, hold on. Solana faucet. We want 5 Solana. Let's confirm. Okay. Now let's get some money. Okay, got $10,000, and now let's put $1,000 in. Let's see if this works. Wait, what? Why does it say that? Okay, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to troubleshoot this. It's telling me like I can't do any LP deposits for some reason, which doesn't make any sense because I should be able to do LP deposits. Wait a second. Oh, okay. I was like, is the contract not even initialized? Should be initialized. It is. Let me just try doing a deposit of $100. See what happens. Sync to the ephemeral roll up. Okay, there's some bug. I don't know what the bug is, but it's definitely not syncing to the ephemeral roll up. Okay. All right, let me figure this out. I got to figure this out. This is some on-chain thing that I'm not seeing locally. So I'm going to figure this out, and then I'm going to probably do another pop-up stream in maybe like 2 hours or so. And then after that, we'll maybe 2.5 hours. I'll try to come back and do a stream and see if we can get this thing up and running. But I want this running by the end of today. So I'll be back, and we'll try to do this a little bit later. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry it's not fully functional, but we're on our way. It's deployed, just not letting me do the LP right now. So I'll catch you guys later, guys and gals, and we'll take a look at this in a little bit later.